Tequila is such an intricate, and it's art at the end of the day. When you start to truly understand the process, it's art. And I think like back in college, we're so used to taking crazy shots and things of that nature. I don't think I ever take shots of John Basíl anymore, right?
Welcome to Securing the Bag, through its exclusive series about work, entrepreneurship, and the secrets to success. Today, we're joined by Duimo Omolu, co-founder of John Basíl Tequila. I know that you studied advertising and business in school, so you knew the things, what to do. So how did you know that it was tequila that you needed to jump into?
Yeah, I was figuring things out, right? Like at the time, I think advertising applied to a lot of the stuff that I was doing outside of the classroom. So, I was really heavily involved with music, very heavily involved with film and fashion and all of these different aspects. And I knew that I wanted to build a brand. A lifestyle brand, a brand that really represented and told a story that I was passionate about. The spirits are a huge part of our experiences, right? If you think about times when we're celebrating with people that we consider family, or if we think about times that we're just reflecting, and there wasn't a brand that truly represented that for me and for my community in an authentic way.
And so what all did you do to educate yourself about tequila itself? Yeah, what are some of those things you had to learn? What are those obstacles you had to face to get there?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, Amir, I'll give you a jump. We started working on this in 2015. But we actually took steps to go in to learn about it in 2015. We didn't actually launch till the end of 2018, right? Okay. So that's almost a full college career of just doing the work, just learning. That first trip to Mexico, being able to study under giants in the industry, like folks who have been doing it for generations and are, world-renowned. Tequila is such an intricate, and it's art at the end of the day. When you start to truly understand the process, it's art. And I think like back in college, we're so used to taking crazy shots and things of that nature. I don't think I ever take shots of John Basíl anymore, right? It's just, it's a sipper, because you start to understand all of the different processes that go into it. It's a lot to learn, and if you want to do something right and provide quality, you got to do that education. And I'm just lucky, we're lucky that folks who've been doing this for generations saw our passion for it and granted us with that opportunity to learn and study under them and collaborate on this brand.
Yeah. I mean, well, obviously you're doing a good job because you were on Forbes 30 under 30 in 2021.
I don't know how that happened. It's one of those things where you're like, oh, maybe one day. My dad actually used to want me to do that.
Wow.
He was like, oh, one day you need to do that, because African parents, that's what they do, right? If they see one of their friends' children have done something, it's now a goal for you. But ironically, unfortunately, my father passed away in 2019. He was, I'm glad he was able to see this come to life, but I got the news that we made Forbes 30 under 30 on his birthday, which was crazy. Wow. So,
getting into the name of this brand. So how did you come up with this name? What are the parts of it? How did you get here?
Yeah, so John is my grandfather's name, and Basíl is the name of, he was like my dad's godfather. So my dad was the first one in his family to come overseas. He's from Nigeria. He came overseas to Chicago. He was the first and only one in his family at the time. And Basíl had made it so possible for him to be able to do that. So in our tradition, you name your oldest son, your first son, after your father. So John was default, but Basíl was so prominent in my dad's life at the time that he combined those two names, and John Basíl was born. It just represented so much opportunity that we had, right? Because he had to sacrifice so much in order for him to come here and be the first one in his family that ultimately gave us the opportunity that we have now. We wanted to pay homage to that. We wanted every single sip to be a toast to that legacy and acknowledgement of the sacrifices of folks who came before us. And there's so many people in the States and the world who could relate to that.
So we're asking all of our guests this question in leading up to The Roots annual conference, and called the Root Institute. And this year's theme is the blueprint for a better Black America. If we were creating a recipe for a better Black America, what do you think would be a key ingredient to include in that recipe? And you can't say tequila.
Key ingredient to include in that recipe. Wow. Okay, so these are, what kind of ingredients are these?
So some people may have said like closing the pay gap or ending generational wealth divides. So something like that.
Very much so understanding your history.
Okay.
That's really big for me. You know, we just got done with the Starline youth program with a bunch of friends from Chicago. We had started this program that takes Black students from the inner city of Chicago, and we take them to Accra, Ghana on a fully paid innovation trip. And when those students leave Accra, like after those 10 days, you can literally see the transformation.
Wow.
And I think a major part of that is understanding your history a bit more now. When you understand your history, you value yourself a lot more. And I think us as a people, that piece is needed. There's a huge portion of our history that has kind of been erased. And I think the recipe that's gonna just give us the value, like that value, and looking at ourselves with value is in the history. So.